Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something pretty exciting, actually. It's called vibe coding.
Vibe coding, yeah. It sounds a bit out there, maybe?
A little, but what it really means is using AI agents to handle most of the actual code writing for applications.
Right, so instead of typing every single semicolon and bracket.
Exactly. You're talking to the AI, basically, using natural language prompts or giving it descriptions. I've even heard voice commands are coming into play with some editors.
hmm And the mission here, for this deep dive, is really to unpack how this approach makes building things, especially, say, STEM projects, way more accessible.
It opens doors for sure.
It really changes who can build software and how fast they can do it.
Okay, so to make this concrete, let's walk through an example. Picture working on a STEM project.
Okay.
You're collecting some data, maybe you're using something like a TokyMaker microcontroller, build in a little robot perhaps.
Yeah, classic STEM setup.
And this brings us to someone doing great work in this space. Mr. E, STEM OG. He's really shown how this process works step by step.
Yes, Mr. E. His example is perfect here. He focuses specifically on getting distance data, from an ultrasonic sensor on a robot.
Right, the kind that goes ping.
That's the one. And he uses block coding on the TokyMaker, which is pretty common and visual.
Makes it easier to get started.
Definitely. He programs it to just send that distance data straight over the internet to a data platform. He used an Adafruit account.
Okay, so Adafruit acts like a data bucket.
Pretty much. A place to store it, but also to visualize it. See the numbers coming in.
Got it. So data goes from the robot sensor to the cloud, essentially.
Exactly.
Okay, now, this is where things get really interesting, right, with Firebase Studio and the actual vibe coding part.
This is the leap. So Firebase Studio, that's a Google platform, is really leaning into this. They call it vibe coding.
And how does that work?
Well, instead of opening a code editor, you give Firebase Studio prompts, plain English, or descriptions, maybe even like a rough sketch of what you want the app screen to look like.
So you're describing the app you want.
You got it. And the really cool part isn't just that the AI writes code, it's that it tries to understand your intention. What are you trying to achieve?
Oh, okay. So you focus on the what, not the how.
Precisely. You skip over learning all the complex syntax, the API calls, all that stuff, initially at least.
So bringing it back to Mr. E's project, how did he use this?
Right. He showed using Firebase Studio, giving it a prompt one he'd apparently practiced and refined a bit.
Makes sense. Getting the prompt right is key.
Totally. And that prompt basically told the AI, go get that sensor data from my Adafruit account.
And the AI just does it.
Yeah, well, it generates the code that does it. It figures out how to talk to the Adafruit API that's the digital handshake between the systems.
Right, the connect.
It writes the code to grab the data and then display it visually right there in the app you're building through Firebase Studio.
Wow. So you're directing the AI, managing the outcome, not sweating every line of code?
It's kind of liberating, actually. You're the architect, the AI is the very fast construction crew.
So let's pull this together. What does this mean for you listening if you're a student or maybe an educator or just tinkering?
Well, it fundamentally changes how you can bring project data to life.
It makes building an app around your STEM data suddenly seem doable, much less intimidating.
Absolutely. That whole complex development process becomes much more approachable. So, to sum it up, vibe coding, like we saw with the robot sensor data, lets you create pretty complex apps just using natural language. It speeds things up and, honestly, opens up development to way more people.
It really does. So here's a final thought to leave you with. Think about how this shift puts the power of making data visible and interactive directly into your hands. How could that change the way you share or even just understand your own discoveries?